I had no idea. I'm not particularly good at planning or thinking ahead. So it's a good thing that other people are.
We wanted to tell a story where by the time you got to the end of the movie, you were very torn about who was right and who was wrong and who you would side with in the conflict. So especially between Iron Man and Captain America, we wanted them both to be a little bit right, both to be a little bit wrong, and audiences to be torn. And so we had to commit as storytellers very, very specifically to that idea, and all through the screenwriting process with the writers Marcus and McFeely, and through shooting and editing, we were always trying to modulate the movie so that it felt very balanced between the two characters. Because look, you've come to know these characters over many movies now. You know that both of the characters are very well-rounded, very, very balanced, but yes, flawed. But they've proven themselves to be heroes now, and that's who we know them as. So you can't immediately. It's hard to corrupt a character like that quickly. So we sort of we found a way to balance them in a way that they both shared responsibility for the problem, but also at the same time they were both right in choosing to do what they wanted to do in the film.
Well, I think we'd all agree that there was just a sense of a return to the kind of like proper mixture of the seriousness and the fun in this, and everyone was pretty active. I think, as evidenced by the way folks are reacting to this film, I feel like we kind of did a good job and people are responding well. So yeah, it used to be the helmet close and I'd be getting shiatsu, but I actually wanted to participate a little more this time.
I'm still surprised. No, I had a wonderful meeting with Kevin Feige. I got a call from my American agents that I should meet up with Kevin, and I panicked and I said I need another week, I need another month, to read all the comics, because I was so shit scared of, precise questions. But then there was no time because he had to leave. So we met and had breakfast. It was wonderful. I was so relieved when it was over because I didn't come across as a total retard. And then and he was so charming, and he said, I have this part for you, and the project sounded so appealing and so attractive, and I just wished it to be true. But as an actor, you are experienced with these kinds of meetings. Normally they let you wait for 3 weeks and then they call you and they say it was awesome, but somebody else is going to play the part. So I was really surprised that 3 days later, in my car in Berlin, I got the call that I was offered the part. And here I am. I'm very, very happy.
The national treasure. So, it was a tough part without giving away too. These films are only as good as their bad guys, their villains, or their whatever. And so, I think it takes. You can't just be arch. You have to be charming and intelligent and a lot of things. I mean, I think Daniel's actually a really kind of sweet, smart, cool guy, and then he plays this character. I mean, I don't know what he's really like. I don't know what his girlfriend thinks. It was really something else. And I think also the way the Russos kind of the narrative and the way they structured it, it's not your typical you see everything coming type of, you know what I mean? It felt like it kind of transcended that. I think a lot of stuff in Civil War transcends the genre, which is why people aren't pissed off at it.
In Age of Ultron, I got to be born on camera, which I don't think is ever going to come up for me again in my career as an actor. And it was fun, sort of playing with the idea that he was omnipotent but incredibly naive, and I think you find him in this film struggling with what it means to be human and what's good about humanity and what loyalty and love is, and I think that's going to be very important for, you know, moving forward.
I mean, the movies used to come out, and I used to say, "That's Paul Bettany's voice." And people were like, "Oh, that is, isn't it?" And then I actually think that it was probably one of the coolest things Joss Whedon ever did was the way he framed the birth of Vision. But so you just had to follow up and make sure that there really was a character there, because I mean I remember, you know, early on, you know, we'd see Bettany on set and he's just painted like a purple crayon. And you're like, wow, dude, you really got to bring something to the table here. And you know, and from the very first scene when he kind of excuses himself from walking through the wall, I think it was just a great introduction. And again, these Russo fellas are something else, and they really took care of us all very well.
Well, look, what we tried to do on a storytelling level was, look, it's not, the movie is sort of kicked off by a political problem and a political question about this, how do you wield power, how do you use power, when are you justified to use it, where are you justified using it, how do you have to answer people? And that initial question about should the Avengers be overseen by the United Nations starts to divide the Avengers. But what was most important to us on a storytelling level was to get to a very personal place for why these characters do what they do. It's a political problem, kicks off some soul searching on everybody's part in this film. And that was very important to us through the whole ensemble, to go through the whole story and figure out why on the most personal level these characters are motivated to do what they want to do in the film. Even with Zemo, everybody has very personal motivation. So to us, it was this balance between a political issue that can polarize people, but also the personal issues that really cause you to move one way or the other. And then those are ultimately more powerful than the political issues themselves. We scouted Leipzig and we fell in love with it. It's a beautiful looking airport. I think it's slightly underutilized for how large it is, so they were able to accommodate a movie production there, which is a very difficult thing to do, because we, of course, couldn't disrupt any of the flight patterns or anything. So it's a very complicated thing to do. Like, look, we ended up shooting a lot of that airport stuff at outside our studio in Atlanta as well. We had a big concrete pad there that we surrounded in green screen to look like Leipzig, because we were doing a lot of things that require a lot of pyrotechnics and cranes, etc. You just can't do at a functioning airport. So while we got great production value out of Leipzig, beautiful place to shoot, and we were able to pattern it all on a CG level so that we could use it even in things we didn't shoot. That's sort of how Leipzig ended up working out for us. We have part of the movie is set in Berlin. Other parts of the movie are set around in other spots in Europe. So we were able to shoot here in Berlin and double it for not only Berlin, but also for Romania and Vienna. And it was very, very good experience we had here. The crews are excellent. The locations are excellent. The culture is a blast. So I think we couldn't have had a better experience shooting here in Germany.
Yeah, it would have been nice to come. It's pretty expensive to travel me.
It's somewhat related to stuff that we had done before in terms of like Haley Atwell playing the old Peggy in The Winter Soldier. She was aged using some similar techniques. Michael Douglas in Ant-Man was also really thrilling and fun. So it's very sophisticated computer graphic work. I mean, that's part of the fun of these movies and working at the cutting edge of CG now is you can do things that we haven't seen before on the big screen. It's really exciting and thrilling for all of us as moviegoers. So I think that was one of the techniques that was a nice, pleasant surprise for a lot of people.
We were at the premiere in LA and that scene came on, and I don't know why I had to keep myself from getting really kind of choked up about it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, just because the lights are low doesn't mean my missus wouldn't have seen me like silently weeping my passing youth or something like that, you know. Usually I only openly cry if I'm at a Steely Dan concert.
We went through this process of figuring out, well, who would we make him look like exactly? What version of his younger self? And then we finally realized through the process it was just better to like not try to match to any specific thing and just go for like a young Tony Stark as opposed to a young Robert Downey. It was a very interesting process. I don't know. I mean, it could, you know, there's an upside to that as well for the actors, right? I don't know. But no, I mean, look, I think it's just another tool in the toolbox. You know, it's a wonderful place for a performer to go, to just think about how, you know, well, how does your body language change when you're that age, etc. It's almost something more the stage actors are used to doing, but now you get to do it on the screen in a more credible way than before. So I think it's a, you know, for really talented performers, I think it's a great challenge, and it's very exciting for us as audiences as well.
Okay, that's an interesting
Welcome to
question.
Germany, Emily. How does he taste by kissing? Answer it.
Wait, what am I answering right now? I'm confused.
His mouth tastes like.
I don't really think I'm thinking about that. I think I'm usually thinking about what we're having for lunch that day or something. I don't know. You know, it's another day at the office, I guess. It's fine. It was great. Let's just go with that. It was great.
Bettany warmed him up for her. He was at the premiere, and you know he always does cameos and all that stuff. He is so game and so he's just got a lot of moxie. I mean, I think that it makes sense that so many of these characters came out of his mind, because he's just a very kind of he's just a ballsy guy, you know. And he's not getting any younger. I mean, you know, we've been doing this for 10 years. He seemed pretty damn old when I did the first Iron Man movie. But I think he'll probably be here after us, too.
What I brought with me, I brought some clothes.
Novels and Astroglide.
My own base camp, a helicopter budget, and about 300,000 other perks.
Boring answer, headphones and a long book. I chose Tolstoy. It takes some time.
Books are good.
Bring a bicycle and a motorcycle just to get my head clear sometimes.